Hi, I'm Life Coach Landry, and the topic is 7 ways to make conflict healthy, because the key to a healthy conflict is being understood. Okay, I got an email from one of my subscribers on my channel. It says, "Hey Coach, love your channel. Been watching for a while. I find your information pretty useful. I have a question for you. I've been wondering how to take my conflicts that I have with my girlfriend and turn them into something positive for the both of us. So far, I feel like I haven't been able to accomplish this, but we've both been talking about ways we can do this. What's your advice? How do I get started? Is it easy? Is it hard?" First of all, it's pretty easy once you adopt some key principles. But that's a great question, though, because I think everybody, as I preach in my videos, that you should always be sitting down with a sense of resolve, but everybody could use some direction on how to get there. Okay, so what's the key here, right? So what is about feeling understood that helps alleviate negative feelings? What is it about it, right? It does something for you. It helps right after a conflict. For some reason, even if you're on opposite sides, if you're understood, you just feel better, even if you don't completely agree with each other. Okay, so it signals to you that your partner cares about you when you feel understood, and it feels that they're invested in the relationship. It also makes you feel like your relationship is strong and worth fighting for. And in the end, feeling understood, especially when your partner has a different opinion than you do, it just feels good, plain and simple. And that's why it's an effective strategy to implement that into your relationship. So how do you increase understanding during conflict? Okay, I'm going to give you 7 suggestions for how to think and act to maximize understanding during conflict. Okay, number 1, instead of asserting your own point of view, try to take your partner's perspective, make it your own, and make it your goal to understand why your partner feels the way they do. Okay, easy. You've heard that before. Put yourself in their shoes. It's pretty simple. Try it. It's effective. Okay, number 2, I want you to avoid these 4 things: criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. Okay, criticism is every time they say something, you immediately try to match it, with your own criticism of the same situation. Okay, defensiveness is every time they say something, you bring up something to say, well, you did this too. It's a very first grade technique. It doesn't get anywhere, and it's certainly not something working towards resolve. And then there's contempt, which means you've already decided before you've even come to the conversation. And if you've done that, then what are you doing having the conversation? And then number 4 on there was stonewalling. Stonewalling is when you're putting off resolve in order to make your point. That's not a good conversation technique, okay? But number 3 on the list is give your partner the benefit of the doubt. I want you to assume that their intentions are not malicious. But if you're with someone that's a manipulator and malicious, you need to get rid of them. That means you're not in a healthy relationship. That means these tactics have no bearing because you're not with somebody that can absorb them properly. Okay. Number 4, I want you to take a moment and reflect on your partner's positive traits. You can even try some gratitude-inducing techniques. Okay. Number 5, think of you and your partner as a team rather than opponents. Your goal here is to figure out together why you don't see eye to eye and find a solution. It's not to win, it's not to be right, and it's not to prove them wrong. And it's not there for you to vent out of your mouth everything you feel and not have an ounce of you that wants to resolve things, okay? Don't be that person that listens to talk. And what that means is don't be listening for them to stop so that you can start talking. Actually listen. Because if you're just listening for key things that they say for you to be defensive about, you're not there to have a conversation, you're there to be right. You need to remove yourself. You're not ready. Okay. Number 6, recognize that you won't always be, that person that can do things these right out of the gate. You got to condition yourself with, and also recognize that it won't always be easy to follow suggestions like this, because especially if your partner isn't playing by the same rules, it's important you sit down and you say, hey, in the future, I would like to try to tackle things like this. How do you feel about that? Do you think we should practice this? And they should agree, because this is obviously you trying to work on something positive. Okay. And number 7, the final thing is give yourself a mantra to repeat when you start feeling angry, upset, wanting to override them and what they're saying, and you start feeling angry, to help you remember what your goal is here. Because even something as simple as be understanding. Say to yourself, be understanding. When they're saying something, be understanding. Because it's going to help you improve your relationship. And if you're in love with somebody and you're talking to somebody you really care about and you're having somebody that resolve is your ultimate goal here, then that should be something that you practice, okay? So if you want to work on these things with me, even as a couple, I work with couples all the time. I work with them over the web, webcamming, Skype, phone calls, conference calls, in person. If you live in my area, you can contact me at the information below in the description. And if you just found this information of value to you and a video that you're going to watch over and over to kind of help you condition yourself, you can show that appreciation by clicking on the donation link below, and I will talk to you soon.